Spontaneous.
Yeah.
Just, yeah. Okay. So you're on the road show
Yeah.
in the bus.
I'm on the road show in a bus, and they were telling me, Fred, you need to cut your hair. This is a material thing you hung up on. And you said, you're not your hair. And I kind of thought about it, I said, yeah, if I cut off my arm, am I going to feel like I'm not whole anymore? So the truth hit me that, no, I will feel whole. I just lost an arm, but I won't feel incomplete. And I kind of thought about what the spiritual master was saying, you're not your body. It's our chance to break the cycle of life and death by chanting this chant. And he said, when you chant this chant, it's spiritual, so it's like throwing water into a contaminated cup of water. It replaces the contamination with pure spirit, pure water. So it's like I wasn't there. I wasn't there because I was in blind faith, or desperate. So I was kind of had an open mind. So it's kind of similar, like you see one car coming, it's going to hit you. You can't deny it. People say, no, it's not going to hit you. But I couldn't deny the truth in what he was saying. Besides all that mumbo jumbo about all these different saints and everything, I kind of filtered all that out because I couldn't even understand I just couldn't even relate to it because, I was born a Christian. But then we ended up in Tampa, Florida, and one night she used to play guitar with this one devotee. Good guitar player, good singer. One night I got up and she was gone. And I just had a big graveyard. It was in Tampa, Florida. I'm calling Barbara, couldn't find her. And after a few days, she called me up and she said, oh, these kids are not our kids. They need to be taught in a Vishwana way. They're going to be spiritual leaders. The kids are going to go to West Virginia at this place called some ashram in West Virginia. The boy was already sent there. And so she told me, oh, I want you to deliver Jennifer, the daughter, to Atlanta. And at that time, I already shaved my head, So I'm like a local guy, a guy of color, with his red hair, 4 or 5-year-old kid riding on my shoulders, hitchhiking to Atlanta, Georgia. This is when you first started building a Disney World. And I never thought of it, but it dawned on me now. I could have been killed. I could have been arrested for kidnapping this freckled redhead kid. And I wouldn't have any justice. They would have locked me up. Anyway, when I ended up in Atlanta, I delivered the kid. And, at one point, they said, oh, you live in the temple, but you got to get married. You cannot live together if you're not married. So before all that happened, I was in Atlanta in the temple, and we went to a justice of peace. We got married, So then she was married to me. But in the meantime, you know, she inherited all this money. And she ended up donating all the money to the Krishna movement. And in my mind, I said, you know, Fred, how you was brought up, yeah, your grandparents work all their life to get the family ahead, and she just gave it away. They're freaking rolling in the grave right now, you know. Then she told me, at that point, I told her, you know, I don't want to have nothing to do with it. I don't know what I do, but I'm going to go back to Hawaii. I don't want to talk about divorce because it'd be compulsive. So I want to think about it. So I've come back to Kauai, and on the plane, I kind of disguised myself as a Canadian sailor. You know, I had this full long fleece coat, you know, inherited it from her grandfather, and I had a Canadian sailor hat, cover my bald head and my ponytail, and I caught a plane to Hawaii, ended up back in Lihue Airport. No one was there. No one knew I was coming home. And I'm walking by the cane field. This one had all cane fields on the right and left side. Took my coat off. I threw it in the cane field. Kissed the ground. And I said, thank you. I'm home. I'm home. Yeah. And being that I traveled a lot in Atlanta, hitchhiked from Tampa to Atlanta, yeah, the walk from the airport to Wailua was nothing. So I slowly walked and cherished every moment. I walked home. At the front of the property, here my dad was fixing this broken mailbox. The post fell down. And I come popping up. At that point, I was full in a saffron robe. My hair was all shaved. I had a sika in the back. And I looked like a monk. He turned around and he said, what the hell? You know, he said, what the hell happened to you? You know. At that point I said, never mind that, Dad. I'm not my body. You identify me with what you see. Yeah. I'm Fred. I'm still Fred. I'm your son. You know. And for the longest time, he thought I was crazy. My whole family thought I was crazy. Then I ended up going to a Krishna temple in Kolau. They had a temple out there. But then again, I kind of had this big picture, you know. And I said, oh, you know, when I was in the mainland, I could see that all these followers of this spiritual leader was all charting for position, you know, to be the spiritual leader, best sannyas, you know. And when I came back, I could see the same thing over here. And then also, I remember the spiritual leader was saying, oh, there's true love for God, and there's also the fanatics. They only see the power, the position they can put yourself in to take over when he dies. So I seen the big picture, and I told her, they used to go out and distribute magazines to promote the Krishna consciousness. And I told them, you guys go distribute your magazines, but when you come back, if I'm not here, that means I'm gone. I laugh. And I was glad I was in that position, because like, I noticed even in Atlanta, a lot of the Jesus freaks, if they would leave the establishment, you're condemned, you're going to hell, or according to the Christian movement, you're going to fall into this material way of thinking again, and you're going to be in Maya. And you're going to lose your spiritual connection. You're going to be a lost soul. At that time I said, these guys are all fanatics. I don't want to have nothing to do with them. I'm going to go home and try to find myself. And I even went to Cocoa Palms, where they had this priest. His name was Father McDonald. He was big in the Catholic denomination on Kauai. But at one point, he resigned from being a priest and he got married. So I kind of wanted his opinion in what I was trying to say, But I never did connect with him. So for the longest time, I was kind of lost. I got into drugs. I was into drug addiction. I was just lost. I was into just satisfying my material pleasure. I say the fun things. Then one day, my wife said, "Oh, hey, you good with people and stuff like that, huh? You should go to Cocoa Palms. I used to work there, huh? And you could be a good waiter, huh?"
This is your wife came back from the mainland?
No.
No, different.
No. My mom told me that.
Oh, your mom. Okay,
Yeah, my
okay,
mom told
okay,
me that.
okay.
So I followed the lead, and I did get a job there. I didn't want to cut my hair, I grew my hair back again, and so I wore a wig, and so I look real straight, But after work, I said, I'm gonna let my freak flag fly. So I'd like, and then that's when I met Leonard Herbert, and I went to his house, and I told him, "Wow, you're a real artist, I said, Mr. Herbert, can you teach me how to paint?" He looked at me, he said, "Young man, if you just want to make money, you just want to fame, you can get the hell out of my house right this minute. But if you want to strike a chord in people's heart and you want your painting to stand the test of time," he said, "you start painting and we'll talk about it." And even that I had no idea the complexity of painting, and the main thing is that you need to connect to the higher power so your painting become greater than life. It will captivate everybody. And I started painting and just going through the whole routine. And he had two other students, Frank Hernandez and Glenn Huberman. And they were taking lessons from him before I even came into the scene. And I was a kid from the other side of the track. I had no money. I hitchhiked from Wailu to Hanamalu with my paintings in my hand so he could critique it, A lot of times he would critique it, he would say, he point out all the good stuff first. Then after he pointed out, well, what the hell you did this for? But it was very humbling. And I actually felt very inferior when I went to classes because Frank and Glenn was so much better than me, But I said, I don't know. He said, this is the only thing I know how to do, And I remember in kindergarten, where kids were doing all stick figures. I did a horse with triangles and rectangles. It was totally different. And when I was in grade school, I also realized that I captivated my audience. They were just like amazed, So I kind of ran with it. I ran with it for many years until I met Leonard Herbert. But he ended up mentoring me for 30 years. Then the day he passed away, before he passed away, he used to talk about, I just want to be buried in a plain pine box. And that's when I had this job. I was working with foster kids. I was handling foster kids where nobody would take into the home because they were troublemakers. But took in these boys and try to be a role model to them, or what a good citizen should be. At that time, Leonard Herbert was almost in his deathbed. And this girl, Sandy, who was a caregiver of Leonard and a close friend, she asked me, since you were Leonard's protege, can you paint something on his coffin? And I just, that's a weird request. I never thought that would be coming, Then I said, I don't know, Well, my foster kid will say, well, what would the neighbors say? I'm bringing this coffin into my garage. And she thought about it and she said, how about we just give you the cover? So I said, okay. And I had the thing in my garage and I painted it all white first. And I was thinking, how do I honor this man that guided me in the right direction for so many years, And I just try to remember what he told me. A lot of times he would say, Fred, I know you know how to draw, but you should vary your edges. Your edges are so sharp you could cut me. It looks like razor blades, And I thought about that and I said, okay. So I painted the whole top part yellow. And then I said, I'm going to paint this light. And I rubbed off the yellow paint and I made the outside edges really soft. And in the middle of it, I painted a portrait of him. And I told myself, something? When he transcends out of this box, it's going to be a smooth transition. He's not going to get cut. There's no hard edges, It's going to be smooth. And he's smiling. He's not afraid. And I also did a painting years ago of this Chinese moon bridge with some figures on it and the reflection of the water and was reflecting the people on the bridge, and these figures was going like this, come, come, you know. I took that painting and I infused it onto the bottom part of the painting, the middle part. And I said, yeah, and this is the spirits when I pass in, it's okay. Yeah. Then I painted Poly Alley Beach with 2 sets of footprints and wave breaking. And I remember when we used to walk on the beach, and he used to tell me, you know, don't give up, you know. And you know, before he died, he also told me, hey Fred, before I leave, I forgot to tell you, you will never arrive. I said, what do you mean? He said, it's in this painting thing you're trying to do, the day you think you know it all, you should just drop dead, you know? And that stuck in my mind. Then after he died, I just went, oh man, this is like a big shoe to fill, man, you know? And I still didn't know how to paint. But throughout the years, after raising a child and struggling to try to understand the complexity of painting, I had a rude awakening just recently. I ended up with this bone marrow disorder, where they call it lazy bone marrow, where it's not doing its job. Before that, I started feeling very weak, and I ended up in the hospital the first night. They gave me 6 ounces of blood, and they said if I didn't go in there, I would have been dead. Then they found out, after a bone marrow biopsy, they found out they had this thing called aplastic anemia, and it's not curable, it's treatable one. And I ended up in Straub. At the same time, when I was in Straub, I told myself, I'm not afraid of dying. I will never die. I am spirit. I'm not my body, you know. I can't understand something's beyond my capability, because with my limited mind, I just have to embrace it and accept it. So I told myself, with this exterior, and thinking I know I'm not my body, I'm not afraid. So a storm is coming, a storm is coming. Shut all the windows, shut all the windows, hunker down. So I started playing all this Indian spiritual music and meditation kind of music. All through the process, my wife was terrified that I was gonna die. She was right at my side, going through all this. And at times she would cry and she said, I see you slipping away. You're slipping away from me, you know. And I told her, I'm okay, you know. But she was terrified. And all the time when I came, I was out there, I asked myself, you know, if there is a God up there, give me more time. And I'm gonna paint for you. I'm gonna make manifest the beauty that you want people to see that you created. And maybe the beauty that comes out by me pushing a brush for you will have them slow down and have some kind of connection with you. Then I thought about my studio. I had a beautiful studio. I have a home, a wonderful family, a half-acre property. But then I realized, Fred, you were just doing status quo. You were just not doing things at its full capacity. You were stuck in this material possession thing where there's a limit now. And you attained the limit. So I thought I was on top of the world, But then I told myself, Fred, you go back home, you need to get your studio in order, get your property in order, get your life in order, and live for the divine. And now, while I'm recovering, I always ask him, come into me. I know only science can do only so much, because it's limited. But you are beyond limited, beyond unlimited. I cannot even comprehend the vastness of your love and understanding that are coming to me and use me so I can glorify your greatness. And it changed my whole life. I came home, I threw out a lot of my old paintings. I told myself, something, Fred, this is a new chapter. Now that you do understand who you are, you need to act in that part. You need to act in the part where you were intended to be, and be humble. Give him all the credit, whatever his name is. And being that I was a Christian at one point, I was always taught to fear God. You don't listen to the 10 Commandments, you're gonna go to hell. And he's watching you, But then, with an open mind, being got kind of, even how weird people think the Hare Krishna movement is, somehow I got what the spiritual master was saying. We're here to serve the divine. And then we are being accepted. When we serve the divine, we get accepted into the divine world. Until then, we are going to be revolving in this cycle of birth and death. And I don't know what everybody's going to say, but I'm just saying this from my bottom of my heart. Do what you like. Do whatever you want. He loves us so much. He gives us the freedom to be the leaf on the tree, which is connected to him. We have the quality of him. We just don't have the quantity. We want to believe we have the quantity. We want to believe we are the God. And we also want to believe we are the house in our car. But I humbly say, let go of control. Because control is controlling you. Set yourself free. And love everybody. Love the Hindus. Love the Muslim. Love all the different denominations. Because they are like fingers of God extending to all. A different capacity of our understanding. So the guy who is rushing into the tiki, with the true feeling of loving God, there might be a lower capacity in trying to love God. So don't condemn them. Let them be. I love everybody. Thank you.